so far, like, so we've talked a little bit about like your career deploying. We talked about the UI path, and you also have like a ton of these, for lack of a better word, side hustles that are almost like full-time hustles at this point. So you've for as long as I've known you, through Instagram and through like the web, you're always very, very busy. So like I was, you were very active on Instagram. You know how to grow an audience. So if you were starting, say you were starting an Instagram channel and they look to UX Goodies as an inspiration, what tips do you have for someone to start from nothing and get to a large following that's as engaging as the audience that you've been able to reach so far?
Sorry, yeah, right. Start taking notes.
I know, it's like also just like, there's a little bit, of course, of some personal interest here as like, we're a young podcast looking to grow. But I also think that I'd love to hear more about your content strategy is kind of where the root of this question is, because I think it's brilliant. I think the branding is brilliant. And I think the way that the community like looks to you as a leader in the space is also brilliant. So, yeah.
And it's natural, not organic. That's the main thing. It's not like someone who's just blasting content. It's like, how do you build that naturally and organically?
Yeah, I hope I will be able to answer this question because for most part of my Instagram journey, I kind of had no idea what I was doing. So it all felt like a lot of trial and error, a lot of experimenting, a lot of unknown. Then all these features appeared. I'm not naturally a quick pick-upper of features, so I'm really resistant to change, and I was overwhelmed by, I don't know, Reels, then first Instagram TV, which I didn't use for like a year, and then I tried it out then with Reels. So I'm not necessarily really good at social media, but probably I'm good at messaging or reaching people with content, which also I'm not doing by using any strategy. Probably I should. So I had this really overwhelming for myself, an overwhelming growth on Instagram, and then it kind of slowed down or it stopped. And I think it stopped because now you kind of need a strategy. So after a certain point, so that's probably growth will happen if you have some interesting things to say for a while. But then you really need a strategy to keep, because then also I think something happens with the algorithm. Big pages kind of probably, I don't know, for me it feels like if you have a large audience, then Instagram kind of pushes you into having to pay to promote your content and to reach people, because otherwise people who would open the Instagram feed would only see big pages. So that doesn't make sense for smaller pages. And so I don't have the key to Instagram success, but my advice, if I were to articulate some nuggets of wisdom, if you want, I'd say that you need to find your voice, which may sound very cliche or very broad, or I don't know, like what does it even mean? But it actually means something very tangible. You have to establish for yourself, what do you want to talk about? What are the main messages that you want people to, what are the main topics that interest you and you would like to reach people with? And so for me, for a long while, especially in 2020, it was like mental health. And this was what I had in mind. I have to reach designers by talking about mental health. And then I switched, and now I'm in a stage of my Instagram journey where I want to help people navigate the overwhelming ocean of information that's out there and answer their most common lost feelings. So probably find the voice. This is the number one advice. Then also be consistent. For me, this is what worked. So for a long time I posted, I don't know, if not daily, every 2 days for 1 year, and that's where the most accelerated growth happened. So being consistent, it's also important. I think the algorithm rewards loyalty to the app. Find your voice, be consistent, show yourself. This is something that I didn't do in the beginning because I didn't want people to say that it's because I don't know, she's also always, I don't know, this is pictures of her and that's why she gets likes. I didn't want that to happen, so I didn't show myself for like a year. But then I realized that if you want these people to know you, to be your friends, if you want to build a relationship, then it's important to put yourself out there. And by show yourself, I don't only mean show your face, but also show your vulnerabilities, show who you are, show your struggles, show your journey, your story, and so on. So probably this would be my top 3. And also experiment with different features that Instagram has. This is important. For example, the stories, question stickers, polls, all things that Instagram has. If you use them, then probably you'll be rewarded for using them, and you'll grow your reach.
So it also sounds like you're like there's Instagram constantly is adding new features. So you don't use all the features. You're saying find the ones that are right for you and make the most of them. I agree. Like I know you use like the posts, like the quizzes and polls. So that's an immediate real-time reaction for people. You're creating it to be more engaging. That's great advice. Mustafa, what did you have to add there?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I remember, I think it was like IO 2019. Ryan said to me, you know, you need to open up an Instagram account. And I'm like, nah, I'm just on Twitter, man. This Twitter is my jam. And just, you know, and what I've noticed is like Twitter has a very technical background, and design Twitter is, there's a few famous people, but it's pretty much memes by this point.